everyone. Welcome to this episode of The Latest Thread. We thought it might be fun in this episode to talk a little bit about just our current kind of quilting goals that we have. Um, I know for me, I've recently been reorganizing, so just organizing
I
because,
was like
my sewing,
reorganizing.
yeah, my sewing area is just a nightmare. And so in doing that, I came up with my goals because like I have, and I'm sure everyone really, we make quilts and more quilts and more quilts. And where are all of my quilts? They are in storage bags and tubs and totes, and they're shoved everywhere there's room for. And I need that space for other stuff. So one of my goals is to figure out what to do with all those quilts. Like I have, and I think it's great to be able, and at some point, like when you're gone, your quilts will be there. But do I want someone to have to, you know, like my son super appreciates them and all of that, but I would feel bad like if he thinks now he has to keep all these quilts, right? So I feel like I'm gonna try to sell some of them because it'd be better if they're out somewhere instead of in a tote. I mean, there's ones that are to me super special, so I would keep those ones, but yeah, I mean, I know selling quilts is not easy. You invest a lot of time and even to give them away, I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, I know what time I invested, right? And that's hard.
Yeah.
So, and knowing your family members well enough to know which ones you would not give a quilt to. So there's that too. Um, yeah, I think that's kind of my biggest thing because I've got to get organized. I just feel like, oh, and I guess they're UFOs, but they're really not so much UFOs. They're unquilted projects that just, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
so many. Um, that I want to try to get some of those done too.
Well, I have an option. The one that I want you to finish. You have to finish that one.
Oh no, because I've kind of resolved that I'm not going to finish an unfinished project because
Oh, we'll
you
put
know,
it
do you
together and
ever
just stop there.
do you
Yeah.
ever notice when you pull out your unfinished? Like I have some from oh my gosh, 20 years ago. I have a Lone Star. I have the star. That's all I have. I have even the fabrics. They're calicos.
Oh,
They're navy blue, green, and burgundy. I
Oh,
can't bring
sounds
myself to do
like
it.
you.
Like,
oh,
no.
we should have an episode like date this UFO just by the fabrics.
Oh, yeah, and I can't bring myself to finish that. What would I do with it? Because
Yeah.
no, I don't, so that I feel like I'm giving up on those because I can't bring myself to finish them.
They're all done though, you told me. Just put them together. Not that one, the other one.
That's applique, Karen.
I know, but you said they're all done.
They are done, but they now need all appliqued on. I like the tedious part. I like making the applique. When it comes time to make them onto the quilt, eh,
Yeah.
that part, the easier part I don't really enjoy. But
Well, and I look at it a little bit differently than Jody. I have three kids, and they all have quilts that I gave them. I also have eight grandkids, and they all have a quilt or two that I made them. Now, they are not into quilting. They appreciated the quilts that
mhm.
they got. But and my youngest very recently literally brought up what would happen to my quilts if they were gone, and if I was gone. And he literally, and it shocked me, it really did, because he named some very specific ones that he would want to have. And I literally was floored because I, number one, didn't even realize that he knew they existed, nor that he had an interest. But the way I look at it, most of my, and I apparently haven't made nearly as many quilts that I have compared to Jody, but the ones that I do have currently live on my guest bed, and I enjoy them. I switch them out, Um, and frankly, and I know that may sound weird, but I don't care what happens with my quilts after I'm gone. If my kids want to enjoy some, go for it, but I won't feel bad if they don't, because I
Mhm.
know that's not their thing. So I guess we all have different points of views. I hope they would donate them and not just throw them away because they know I'm involved with a group where the group members, other than myself, don't make a lot for donation. But in regards to goals for myself, I have a lot of panels that I want to quilt, and I have lots and lots of quilt kits that I've had for 20 years, you know. Um, and fabric, including calico prints, I'm sure. I hate to get rid of stuff because I always feel I can't replace it, because it's costs money. So I'll enjoy it while I'm able to, and whatever happens, happens.
Mhm.
I can get rid of stuff, though. Not things that mean something to me, but like fabric, yeah, that because I only buy what I'm super, like. And anymore, it's like you bought it and I don't want to cut it up into little pieces.
Mhm.
So I've started using that. That's for backings because at least now I didn't have to cut it up and I can see it. But those, like at one time I was big into flannel. I literally just gave it away because I get tired of moving it, reorganize it, and I'll put that here. It can go in the back. And then you move it to a tub and then you move it, and it's like I can't, I'm not using this.
That is one of my goals, and that's why I laughed when you said reorganizing, because I'm like, well, in order to reorganize, you would have had to been organized. um, I just want to find a place or a storage system that works for me, because continually moving it from one place to another, just like you said, from here to a tub, from a tub to a drawer, it's not working. So, and it's not even necessarily just like fabric or gadgets, or it's just everything in general in my house needs to be organized. Like I want to pay one of those people and just come organize it, make it work, and I'll follow the rules. like
The weird thing is how that changes too. Like I used to love to look at all my fabric, so I had it where I could see it. But then it was like, now I just feel like I know I'm not using any of this. We need to not be looking at this
but
and
like
feeling
even
bad
here in
about it.
Florida, if you leave it in this anywhere in the light, it's gonna fade anywhere in the light. So I want that sealed off from total darkness. But yeah. But quilting wise, I'm going to finish one of my three competition pieces that have been sitting around for 3 years now, waiting to be born. One of those three is going to get done this year.
I finally finished this year a quilt that I started. I think it's older than two of my kids,
Oh my.
and my kids are all adults. So I had a little pause in my clients close to Christmas, and so I put it on, finished it. It's bound, and I'm so happy.
Wow.
And I have a few more that need it. So my goal is to get backing and have them ready with the quilts so that when I have that lull or that time where I'm cliented out,
Mhm.
I can put one of my own on and I'm ready to go. So I'm slowly collecting backings for those quilts that I had so much fun putting together, now just sitting in the cabinet.
And just scheduling yourself like your own client. Oh, look,
Yep,
it's Paula's quilt today.
exactly.
I have quite a few actually of those unquilted projects. They are pieced. I do actually have the backings and I have binding. They just need to be quilted. And that is definitely a goal to get those quilted because otherwise you don't, I mean, even if you schedule time for yourself, it seems like even when I put myself on my own schedule, something else comes up and
But is
you
it because
just,
you allow yourself to be moved? Like if
I
that were a
do.
client, you'd be like, I can't move
Yeah,
them.
I
You're
can't move
allowing
her,
yourself to be moved.
but I allow myself to get moves because somebody will call and say, oh, I just really need this. It's not that big. And I think, oh, okay.
Oh, put
I have
yourself
one of those
first, Jeannie.
coming.
A lot of times when I do my own too, I have a tendency to just do whatever's quick because
Mhm.
you know, where if it was someone else's, I would do what's right for the girl. Mine, I'm like, whatever. I can always make something else.
Yes. Yeah.
I have one ready to go, and it's all bright, wild, like batik applique, but it's on black backgrounds. And I'm dreading quilting it because black thread, black background.
No, use charcoal gray. You see it better, but it looks like black.
Yeah, I probably will. Because it's kind of one of those is that Moda marbles with the little swirls on it that I
Mhm.
love so much as a background. So yeah, charcoal will probably look good on that, but probably have some intense lighting, extra lighting for that one.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anything else?
More time. We need more time in our
Yeah,
time
well, that would be wonderful.
You need
That would be
36 hour
really
days.
nice.
because that's the crux of it all, you know. And so it seems to me like even though I have a lot I could work on, I get excited about prospects of new quilt projects, right?
Mhm.
And so I noticed over the last few years, I have a tendency to buy kits or sign up for a block of the month as we go into winter. Because you think, in the winter, you're going to have all this time, you're gonna hibernate, and that's when you have time to make well, several winters have gone by. I have bought more stuff, but I have finished very few things because winter is gone by in a flash. So, I mean, well, I, for one, live in under the illusion that I have more time than what I have actually available to me.
And
I
here
used
I
to
it's
think
summer.
that's true for everybody.
Here it's summer where you just want to be in the air conditioning because it's too hot to be outside.
I used to love our one guild would do the like I don't remember what it was called, where you can bring your stuff and put it on the table and sell it. So
Mhm.
like we'd go there with all of our unfinished projects and
By
items
other people's.
and come home with other people's stuff. And then the next year we'd take it back again.
It's a perpetual UFO swap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Essentially, yes.
Yes, I agree with Ava. I see quilts and quilt kits and I want to do them. And most of the time too, when you're looking at those quilt kits, I don't know about you guys, but for me too, I look at it and I think, oh, I could quilt this like this. It's not necessarily just the piecing, it's that I'm looking at that quilt thinking, oh, this would be really beautiful if I quilted this in the background, or if I did this kind of quilting on this. And that makes you want to get it and want to piece it because you think you're going to get it quilted. And hence, I have several hanging in the closet that are not
You have
quilted.
to utilize your clients better. I'd be
Yeah,
like, don't you want to make this quilt? Because I really want to quilt
for
this
to quilt it.
quilt.
Yes, yes, that's what we need.
I have several quilts like that hanging up, waiting. I have one where we did an ice dye, like what's behind you, Karen.
Mhm.
And I have I mean, it's 120 square and or 108 square, not 120. And it's, waiting for designs. And then I have another one, same thing. It's like this will be so awesome to quilt. And it's just hanging there, not quilted. It has a backing though.
Yeah, there you go.
We all have to
You're
put
one step closer.
ourselves, oh,
Yes.
yeah, we all have to put ourselves more forward in our own worlds, I think.
Mhm.
Like our time is valuable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We deserve quilts too.
Yes. Not just
Yes.
fabric.
Yeah.
My daughter did tell me though that she doesn't care how many quilt kits I buy because then when I die, she'll have plenty to work.
Well, and that's great if she, likes what you're doing, and unfortunately, that's not the case with my daughter. But that's okay. She does many other things that, and that's why I said I came to the resolution that, I just, it's okay. I'm enjoying it, whether
Right.
it's quilt books, racks of quilt books. I have magazines that are, I mean, I'm horrible. No, I don't think I'm a hoarder. I just, I enjoy looking at magazines that are old from the 80s, 90s, And back then, when I first started quilting, um, they have sticky notes in them for which project I'm gonna make. They're still all there.
You ever question your own judgment?
Good times, because clearly our tastes change over time.
Mhm.
Um, but luckily, I do like a range of different quilts, from traditional to modern. So, I mean, there's some that I would never do. I don't like raw edge applique, so I've learned that I much prefer needle turn or other methods of applique. So, we have our preferences, but that's another thing, the quilts that I make now, they're usually I want to try out new to me
Mhm.
technique. Yeah, I like to challenge myself. Like I am hoping to start on a paper piece quilt. Of course, I didn't just start with the small kit. I got a Judy Niemeyer kit, right? It was, I thought, okay, this is how I'm going to get around this because I have no clue. So they were offering a block of the month last year. And the only reason why I signed up was because it was pre-cut. So each month you would get your package with the pre-cut pieces. And I thought, I can do that, right? Well, that block of the month is long finished for other people. I have not started with block one. So there's that.
Maybe we need to have a let's see, check-in, and we should
Accountability
all,
check-in. Yeah.
yes,
You're right.
accountability check-in. And we should all pick one of our projects that we would really like to see finished, and then we should check in and show our finished project.
You're right, because most of us do great with deadlines. So if there was a
Yeah,
deadline, there's no way you got to do it, right?
right, because it's a deadline.
And then we'd start it 2 days before the
You
deadline.
just wouldn't see us Thursday and Friday.
That's
Right.
irrelevant. That's
Yes, and you
irrelevant.
would see us and we'd all be with, bags under our eyes trying to get this project
Wait, what do
finished.
you mean would be? Jeannie? Okay.
I'll have to set up my Zoom right next to my sewing machine because I'm finishing it as we're talking.
We hope you guys enjoyed hearing about our goals. Maybe it will hold us a little more accountable or not. We'll see. And we would love to hear if you have goals that you hope to complete. And until then, we'll see you next episode. Bye.
Bye.